Hey guys, so this video is going to be a combination of a few things. First of all, just got me a new camera. This is a Canon Vixie RF82, I believe it is. I always wanted to try a Canon, and my old camera I've been using for the last about 8-9 years. Still works. I just thought it was time to upgrade to 1080p high definition. I've been recording in 720, so it should be a pretty big improvement for as far as that goes. And it's got image stability. I move my hand around quite a bit here, and you can see it smooths it out quite a bit, so that'll help with doing shots like you see right here, just moving around and stuff. Be a little bit smoother, so you won't be quite as dizzy when you watch my videos from now on. I still got quite a few older videos from I recorded last year up with my old camera, and they're going to be mixed in, so it's not going to be all recorded with this, what you see. I got a lot of projects planned for 2019, and I just picked this motor up a couple of weeks ago from matter of fact, the same guy I got that green 8 horsepower from. He's got the generator crankshaft in it. He said this came off a tiller. This is a 96 model. And still got the updraft carburetor. It's got a pulley on it. It didn't have a tank when I got it, and I did manage to source a tank. I ran the fuel line to it. He said the float was acting up. He said it was leaking gas. I also noticed it's missing the governor spring. That might have fell off of my truck or something when I was hauling it, but so I'm going to put a new governor spring in. I probably won't show it on camera, but this video is just more or less trying out my new camera, and I'm going to try to get this thing running and see what it's going to do. I had sprayed some carburetor cleaner in it and kept it running with that, and it didn't smoke or nothing. And it's got plenty of oil in it. It does need change, but it's got plenty of oil in it. I didn't see no smoke, so that's a good sign. He said it didn't smoke, so he did point out to me it fell off his workbench and broke a fin off the head, and I got another head to put on it, but it shouldn't really affect it any, I wouldn't think. But if that's an issue, I do have another head for it later on. I'll change it out, but that was really the only thing, and it's got a real good compression to it. It's a model 190402, made in 96. So let me get that governor spring there, and I'll go ahead and I'm going to work on the carburetor off camera, because I got, I think, 2 or 3 other videos on this type of carburetor, updraft carburetor, so it'll just be repetitious on that, and I don't want to bore you with that. So we'll get back to you and see if it'll run. Alright, so I got some gas in the tank. I ain't turned the valve on yet. Hopefully nothing sticks. I'm going to do a test crank here, then I'm going to shut it off, then we'll take it outside and let it run for a little bit. I can see gas seeping in there for some reason. I think it quit. Sometimes the float will stick right at first like that. But I shouldn't have to choke it since there's a little bit of gas in there. Yeah, it runs. Well, guys, it seems to be a pretty good running engine, and no smoke at all. Alright, so I forgot to mention some of my upcoming videos I'm going to be working on. I got quite a few projects planned for this summer. I'm finally getting around to working on my old mini bike. I think I mentioned it in a video probably 7 or 8 years ago, and never did nothing more with it. We've had it forever and just never did nothing with it. And so I decided to build up a 5 horsepower. This ain't going to be the block I use, but that'll be the gas tank I use. And probably the carburetor after I get it fixed. But I want to keep it a stock appearing build, but it's going to have a slightly bigger cam in it and a few other basic modifications. Give more detail on that on the video. And there'll be several other videos related to it. And I got a brand new old stock Raptor 3 block to build it with. Cast iron sleeve, never been built. So it's going to be a brand new engine. Got a brand new head to put on it. I was wanting to get a brand new tank and carburetor. But I found a good old tank. It just needed cleaned up and painted. It looks new inside. Put a new cap on it. This carburetor, it's going to be a separate video. Got to work on the pickup tube on it. And cleaned up, of course, and get that white paint off of it. I might paint it black or something to match the tank. I ain't decided how I'm going to do it yet. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. That's my big project for this year, so it'll probably be another month or two before you start seeing some videos on it. And I got asked a while back if I ever work on old Tecumseh engines. And I said generally no, but I have. And I have 2 8 horsepowers, I think they are, vertical shafts. And I don't know if they smoke. Never heard them actually run before. I sprayed some carburetor cleaner in there just to see if they had spark and they would run on it, but I didn't have it running long enough to see if they were smoking or not. And one of them's the carburetor's missing on it, so I'm going to put a Briggs carburetor on it. I got one that'll should bolt up to it without maybe having to do a few modifications to it. I thought that'd be interesting to see how well it would run with that, because that's the main reason I don't like Tecumseh engines, because I've always had carburetor problems with them. They're good when they're running, you can't beat them. They're just as powerful as a Briggs, but they're just not as reliable to me. That's my experience. There's probably somebody out there that'll say the same thing about Briggs, so that's just my opinion, what I've experienced with them. And same thing with other brands. I'd say Kohler would be my second choice. I've had minor problems with Kohler, and they're a little harder to work on. And yeah, I don't want to stray too much on that, starting to wander off there. But and I got another 12 horsepower overhead valve Tecumseh vertical shaft, and it's got a bad coil on it. The wire's broke somewhere, and it's got an intermittent spark, and the carburetor's messed up on it. So I like to try to get it running, because it's the original engine off my red Montgomery Ward mower. And maybe someday I might want to put it back on there just to make it all original, but I like how the Briggs runs on it. And I got another Tecumseh too. It's a side shaft off an old Sears Suburban tractor. I can't remember if it's a 10 or 12 horsepower, but it's locked up. I don't know, but I may not get around to it until next summer. I don't know, because I got so much going on this year. But it is something I want to see what I can do with later, because it is a flathead. And I got a Honda GX 160 5.5 horsepower that the carburetor needs cleaned and rebuilt on it. It'll run, but not good. And I got another carburetor for it in case we can't get it to clean up good enough to run. That's my alternative. I got one of them cheap $8 carburetors off eBay to put on it if we need to. I'd rather keep it original. I know I put that Honda clone video up on how to clean the carburetors on the Honda clones, and everybody told me to start making more Briggs videos. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on. I got 2 8 horsepower Briggs to rebuild. Got one of them is the green one off that generator. I need to change the crankshaft out, and since it smokes, I'm going to throw some new rings in it if it's not scored up or anything. I got a little 3.5 horsepower that I got off the same guy that I got that green 8 horsepower from. it runs, don't smoke or nothing, but it don't run right. It acts like the valves ain't sealing right because it's got real low compression. So I'm going to see what I can do with that later on. No big rush on it. I got a little 2 horsepower that I bought off some guy on Facebook real cheap, but missing the cover and some other stuff off of it. It still turns over, but the crankshaft is chewed up on it, so that'll be a little video later on. But yeah, I got several things planned. Hopefully I can get everything done when I'm planning on this year. If not, it'll be next summer for sure on everything. But my main project for this summer is getting the mini bike engine built and the mini bike done. I'm going to paint it up and everything. That's my main goal for this summer, to get that done. Then if I get that done, I got another project I want to start on. If it won't be this year, it'll be next year. I just don't have a whole lot of time to work on all this stuff anymore. Also, another thing I wanted to add about my upcoming videos, it'll be later on this summer, but I got several new old stock small blocks. It's already got the rings, piston, crankshaft, cam, and everything in it ready to go. You just put all your external parts on, like how I did on my generator. So that's going to be some more upcoming videos on that. I got, I think, 2 or 3 5 horsepower blocks and 1 3 horsepower block and 1 2 horsepower block. So that's going to be, I'm not going to probably do all of them this summer, but we're going to at least do 1 or 2 of them, get them going, and that way we'll have a new engine. Got any questions or comments about these engines, let me know, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I want to work on that carburetor later on. I just wanted to see what it would do for right now and try out this new camera. And I got real close to the muffler there to test the volume limiter on it. Sometimes it would stick on my old camera and mess up the volume level, and I was always fighting with that. So hopefully this camera won't do that, or at least not as bad. So, well guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and thanks again, Bryce, for the engine. Appreciate it, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Catch you later.